Remember the last time I saw MG.Trust picking Viper off lane, to be fair, but I suppose you never know. Motivate.Trust. Maybe just another support pickup here for set 0 or Q.
Yeah, it could kind of line up for that. I think something Motivate.Trust likes is they do tend to enjoy their Dawnbreaker. So that could be something that slides through. I believe that is something they picked in their last best of 5, as I do have the data up now, so I can kind of talk a little bit. They did have Dawnbreaker pop out, could be an option for them. We know how well they play with the sustain and the timed aggression. That does bring out. They don't have to worry about any instantaneous cancels here as well. No nicks, no silencer. So you will be able to get max value from that. We already saw a Dawnbreaker today though, Mike. As you remember in our earlier series, it was a pause 1. Didn't have the best impact. But I believe in the support role, it does have a bit of a better time. So we'll see if Motivate.Trust kind of want that here. They've got the room for it. With Dream Coil and Solar Guardian, that's actually a pretty strong combination. So I think you can play off the back of your puck, have the follow-up, sustain and damage coming through there as well, and just take control from there.
Okay. Third pickup, Motivate.Trust. Spending a lot more time for this one. I wonder what the discussion is right now. Like, again, I am expecting a support pickup, and alright, they go for the line, which is pretty stock standard here for Motivate.Trust. I suppose the fourth pickup, though, needs to be made. Do you go MG.Trust? Do you go Jackie? Looks like they'll go down the Jackie route into something a little bit different. The PA isn't something we get to see very often in this current meta, let alone from Motivate.Trust of all teams. Definitely seems like it's been a long time since I've seen Jackie play PA, at least in Pro Series. How do you feel about this, John?
It's an interesting pick. I don't think I expected this for Jackie. He had a lot more heroes lined up. He could have gone for the heavy farming heroes were there. You called out the Dusa, could have lined up. He had the option for Terrorblade as well. No Wraith King as it was banned by Motivate.Trust themselves, but the PA. It could be signaling something like a Magnus last pick for Motivate.Trust, but there are still 4 bans. 2 bans for AG to kind of use up. So I think they should be able to read that Magnus is going to be a strong combination for the PA. You've got RP Dream Coil, or just skewer back on the Dream Coil to break. And that alone gives you a lot of value there already. I think AG should kind of be able to stop that buff from the PA. I'm keen to see what Jackie builds up. I think the few cases we see PA come in, it has been going for the Battle Fury once more. You really can't skip that item on this hero. Just gives you a lot of damage and a lot of AoE damage coming out, which is something she lacks. AG go into the Faceless Void. So they've got Chrono Kisses coming out. They've got the DK and Dragon Form to play outside. Good amount of damage and control coming through. The bans are just flying. That's nearly instant bans coming out from Motivate.Trust. Taking care of Lina, taking care of the Invoker now, removing those combinations with Faceless Void. So expecting the DK off lane for Wami, I suppose, with a mid ban out. So we'll see what the final picks are. Surprised Magnus stays in. They actually do just ban out Slardar and Veno, so you can just take a Master's Magnus here and go all in the PA.
Okay, we'll see. Final pickup. "52 seconds reserve time left to think about it." And it looks like they're going to go down the Beastmaster route. I mean, I like it. Just a nice way to kind of counter out the Void and the Chrono if you do get caught. I suppose the Void isn't necessarily what you're worried about anyway, but it does seem like Motivated looking to just kind of outpace Army Geniuses here in this matchup. AG, how do they want to finish up? They still require maybe a mid or maybe an off lane.
I think with the bans from Motivate.Trust, they seem to think Wami will play a DK off, and you can take something more active mid. Not many strong matchups left against Puck. The Spirit Brothers are still available if you want to go that route, as they've all been left alone. Storm, Ember, Void Spirit on hand. I think you want something that plays with Chrono. So, the Lina would have been perfect, but it was banned. You could maybe go for a Quap. A Queen of Pain could kind of just play with a Chrono as well, have the Sonic Wave to come through. Up against the Puck, it's not too bad of a lane. And they go with the Legion Commander instead, so it will be a mid DK. Just you're relying instead on just Dragon Form from the DK for Azura to contribute and the kisses coming out. That could be enough. Motivate.Trust, though, as you mentioned, Mike, really quick pace coming out with the Beastmaster. They've got early timings with the Phantom Assassin as well. As long as the laning phase goes smoothly, with Legion Commander versus PA, I don't think it's too bad for PA. Sure, the overwhelming odds will be annoying, but you can always stand back and play with daggers, so Jackie should still get some stable build-up into the Battle Fury.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to ask you the hard question, though, Jonathan. I mean, between these two drafts, do you think one is superior to the other?
I lean towards Motivate.Trust, and there are ways to make the Faceless Void work, but I think Motivate.Trust, they've got the momentum behind them, winning out the best of 5 in another tournament beforehand. They've got this faster pace. The Beastmaster versus Faceless Void lane. It's not easy for Faceless Void. Time Walk can only do so much against the sustained DOT damage the boars will bring out, and that is something that is going to be extra painful for AG. However, there is counterplay on AG's side. Like, you've got the Dispel with Wami. The Roar is not going to be a major issue as long as the LC's outside Chrono as well. So even that way of breaking off the fight from Motivate.Trust might not be guaranteed. I still think Motivate.Trust have better angles to take the engagements and have a pretty early power spike lined up for themselves.
All right, well, we'll get into game number 1 pretty darn soon. Motivate.Trust, of course, bit of momentum behind them, John. They just won a grand final, so they should be feeling very, very happy, if not in a rush to finish off the night for themselves, because I'm sure they're kind of tired right now. Do we have information about whether they had to play a lower bracket final before the grand final, John? Do we know how many games they've had to go through? Go have a check, John.
Go check. They didn't. They did play upper bracket finals 2 days ago, so they didn't have to play beforehand, which is good news. But it's still 4 games. 4 games with 2 more coming up. It can take a toll, even on the best of teams. So we'll see if they can hold up, maintain their presence. And we're seeing the old call-outs. Setzira saying AG Mamang Daya, PG Orca Mamang Daya, all the way back to PG Orca X. And Hoyo Setzira, yeah. Callbacks to Season 1 DPC. Yeah, I love when Motivate.Trust plays against Army Geniuses. They always talk to each other. Jackie. Can I say that? Can I say the word?
Well, what is it,
Jackie Contol. It's a curse.
I realize it's a curse. The problem is I don't know what it means. How bad of a curse?
Pretty
Should
bad,
I Google
if I recall, right?
Well, why would you
could
say
Google
it, John?
It's just your usual sea talk, It's a sign of friendship. That's what I get from all my friends. Although I haven't had AG curse at me yet. Waiting for that moment. As the implications of what they say about Jackie are always hilarious to me. Liit. All they have to say is liit, and everyone knows what follows up from that. And Jackie just, he doesn't mind. You can say what you want. Size is not a factor.
Oh, the curse word wasn't that bad, John. I had a look. Funny thing was, the first option I got on Google was Urban Dictionary, and the definition was handsome. I was like, well, hold on a minute. I know that one's not right. That wasn't that bad.
Oh, ping issues. Hopefully it's resolved for AG. You were talking about AG losing their lineup. I was having a bit of a chat. Who was it with? With Mamang Daya. He misses the guys. UK misses the guys, but you go your own ways, and AG's been holding out as best as they can. Wami was in lobby. We were having a chat. Wami's like, we were talking about DB and Azura being named the pressed Budi Awan, retired soon. And Wami's like, give tips on love tips. I'm like, I'm not the right guy. Just play ping pong with Wami. And it's like, no one plays ping pong with me anymore. They've banned the ping pong. No ping pong. He has no friends to play ping pong with. No one. He said LYM sucks. So there's just no one to play with. I don't know. Apparently LYM sucks at ping pong. It was only UK that could give him a good match.
Wow. That's upsetting. Upsetting to hear. Because they will have to take Dota a bit more seriously now. But definitely sad to hear is no ping pong, buddy. LYM, just get good kid. Obviously just not pulling his weight here on the Snapfire. And table tennis is a hard game, John. I mean, I tried to play table tennis back in high school. So I was a very unathletic kid. So I wanted to join, because you had to play a sport, right? There was a day of each week where you had to play a sport. And I chose table tennis because, quite frankly, it was just the easiest thing. And I wasn't going to be good at any other sport. Let me tell you, I got completely destroyed. completely wrecked. It's quite embarrassing, actually.
Yeah, that's reflective of your hand-eye coordination skills, Mike. So thanks for the heads up and explaining why our FPS games runs never went well.
More disconnections and reconnections here.
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is the play from AG. Wear down Motivate.Trust. They went off from 4 games. Stall it out. Drag it out. Make them mentally, mentally impair them from the fatigue. And that's what they're doing. Maybe not on purpose, but it will play into Motivate.Trust that way.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It does matter, John. I mean, next game, you might just want to choose like an Arc Warden or something. Just get constant split push heroes and just keep dragging the game out. Just torture them on Motivate.Trust.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't have the Ballista anymore. So the infinite stall is not quite possible, right? Like, that is the big one. Sure, Arc Warden is there, but when you get the Ballista, that's when you know the game's not going to end in the next R. And it just drags on. So, unfortunately, the Ultra delay isn't quite there, but you never know. We'll see if this game even goes quick as well. There's potential for it to go fast, but with the Faceless Void, that hero can turn fights, turn advantages on its head, and again, make it so that you can't really commit onto the enemy high ground, make it hard to commit for fights. So there is potential for AG to still play that next level meta of stalling out the game to impair their enemies.
Absolutely. Is that my pro on the flag, by the way, John? I'm not 100%. Who is that on the Motivate.Trust flag? On the river, John.
Oh, yes. That is the MY gang.
Yeah.
It is Mr. MyProto to 10. Happy birthday to you, sir. Can't mention him without mentioning his birthday.
No, certainly not. But one day we've actually going to find out when his actual birthday is, John. I feel like we've wished him that many birthdays
it's
now.
July. I think it's like July 4th. I think it's the same day as me, if not within the same week. So July something.
Wow. Send him a cake over next time, I guess. Fearless. A few hits there from DB, nothing to write home about. 2 for 2 trade, maybe even more. In fact, it is going to be more for Motivate, that is, as Q does snag one away from LYM and Wami. Poor old LYM, not only getting beaten in table tennis, but getting beaten in Dota 2, apparently, as he's lost half his HP. He's going to still join Wami, not make his way back to the fountain, but he is lacking a bit of regen right now. Only 2 tangos left. Be a bit of an annoying lane for him.
Will be. On the bright side, though, you had Force Strength stolen, so when that disappears, your percent HP stays the same. You'll have a good amount of HP going back in lane. The dual lane of Snap, Legion Commander, not the most aggressive. You could try to play with Cookie down the line, but it's a tough lane to play into with an Undying, right? Q spams the K, Wami's the strength here, he loses damage, he loses a ton of HP. And Jackie can just get the zoning he wants to keep farming up. Legion Commander can't really fully stop a PA. If things get dicey for Jackie, he can always hold back with a Stifling Dagger anyway. So I think this lane is going to be in the favor of Motivate.Trust unless Army Geniuses can somehow find the levels and kind of bring it back to Jackie while Q tries to throw his body forward.
Of course, over in the mid lane, Fearless going to be against Azura. Big fan of Azura's name, by the way, John. I mean, taking it back to the Ragnarok Online days. Just reminiscing every time I say this man's name. Sometimes I even cheekily say Asura. It just makes me happy, even though I'm pretty sure that's not how he wants it pronounced. Of course, the DK vs Puck matchup. Do you have feelings about this one? At least for now, it does feel like Fearless is in the lead.
Yeah, it's going to be a back and forth lane. It's a steady farming lane for both sides. Once Azura hits level 3, you can sustain with Dragon Blood, just kind of clear out the wave with Breed Fire. You have the value point in Dragon Tail to help secure the range creep at the least, and maybe just go to stun lock the Puck for a bit, but not much action here. Unless support rotations come out, the DK is going to get what he wants, the Puck gets what it wants, and it should just be that way. It's just the nature of the DK lane.
Top lane, DB, Varish going to be against Set-Zero, and of course Masaros. A bit of a problematic lane. The Faceless Void can always just time walk off the damage, but the Masaros is still going to be annoying, I'm sure, on the boars in this Beastmaster. Got to watch out for that Helm of the Overlord timing, of course, as you generally just group up after you have that up, and it's kind of hard to slow down the team with the Beastmaster on it. And he's off to a great start. 13-2 in terms of CS, not really struggling for farm here on this Beastmaster. The DB doing a decent job on the Void as well. I think you do have to be very concerned about how well the Beastmaster farms. I mean, that Helmet the Overlord timing is quite problematic if you get it fast enough. It's DB. Jump in with the Inkswell. Set Zero, going to use the stick charges. Fairy Fire up. No bashes from DB. Very unlucky, and Varish, he won't bother with the Stroke of Fate. Instead, holding it for Masaros, but ends up whiffing it anyway.
Yeah, I think he had to hold for the defense, just trying to zone out the Boars, get a bit of a slow going so DB can run out. That's the issue for the Faceless Void early on. If you play aggressive with Time Walk, you won't have hit up for a defensive Time Walk back, because it's such a long cooldown. Level 1, 24 seconds. So the window of saving yourself is fairly long, fairly short for Army Genesis, and Masaros is going to be quite fine with that. Sure, your line's gone for a bit, but you can self-sustain now at level 3, level 2 Boars up, even more damage coming through, and I think props to Masaros. He's been declumping his Boars really well. Varish has been constantly trying to Stroke of Fate the lane, catching Masaros in it, but it just doesn't amount to too much damage because Masaros is constant with his micro here.
DB and Varish still fine. Mid lane, Fearless. Gets stunned up by Azura. Very, very even matchup here in this mid lane. It's both heroes very, very close in terms of CS. We have seen this matchup so many times now. It's you kind of expect it as Fearless. He is at least going to find a double stack on this small cap. So he's going to be able to get a little bit of gold away from the Dragon Knight. Nice little boost here for Fearless, as we'll be able to make it back to the laning stage as well, and Curious creeps. Top lane, you just have a look back and it doesn't seem to be getting much easier here for DB. It's just very tough against double balls. You can't really approach the Beastmaster anymore. You get land an Earth Spike as well into a Hex and you might find Void being dead. It's a bit tough, but at least Set Zero doesn't have the Hex up yet, so you're not too worried about that.
Yeah, you're not lining up for the aggression and Motivate.Trust. I think the same thing that AG's experiencing up top is something Jackie's experiencing as well. Our PA also at fairly low CS, 21-1, kind of struggling up against Wami. We expected Wami to have a bit of a slower start, but he's got the levels up. He can just be constant with harassment with the overwhelming odds, and you've got the levels now on LYM to kind of apply some harassment back. So the early presence of Q kind of cut off. They're just not able to really leverage the decay stacking up on Wami anymore. And Legion Commander, even if you do get good decays off, again, once you drop low enough in strength, you can just heal yourself back to full percentage-wise, wait for the decay to fade, and be back in lane with full HP.
Mid lane, maybe a bit of a setup here onto Fearless. Oh, I'm just going to join in with the little Shredder. A bit of minus armor going on this tier 1 mid tower, and that'll escalate the tier 1 push here for Azura. It is kind of beneficial to just have the Snapfire rotate like this, just for that extra bit of damage, especially with the Sea Trip still alive. Azura, how much more do you want to tank? Well, he can tank a lot more. Actually, we'll let it go at about half HP. So forcing Set Zero to rotate here on the line to just ensure that they can't finish off this tier 1, as that would be a huge problem for Motivate. But next Dragon form, I mean, Azura, he could just keep chipping away at this.
Yeah, and Motivate.Trust aren't really set up to stop the DK. They don't have the best spell spam to kind of deal with it. If you get the Undying up front, sure, taking away strength from DK is going to mitigate some of that durability, but Q is just so focused on ensuring that bot lane goes well. He might be in a bit of trouble, though.
Bot lane Q. And Tombstone was denied immediately here by LYM, but Jackie now on the chase for that Snapfire, but stick charges up. LYM going to be just fine. Jackie going to back off the safety as well. Speaking of Jackie, it's not been the easiest time for this PA. Wami, well, actually top lane, DB. He's going to be alright. He does back off the safety. And talking about DB though, Masaros is going to have level 6 soon, and that's when you start to get very concerned as they're going to go in again. Time Walk is still on cooldown for 10 more seconds. That's going to mean that we're going to have to see Azura rotate, but Fearless, he is right on target with the orb. And Azura, he's here now, but it's not looking great for them. The coil is going to land. They've got the Grimstroke down. They've stunned up Azura. And eventually they should be able to get through him, especially with the roar out from Masaros. And they will. Azura Not yet. Stick charge is keeping him alive, and no, never mind. He is tanky enough to get himself out.
Yeah, the Breed Fire holding back the line meant that there was no follow-up stuns. Motivate.Trust will have to just kind of pull back, not overextend against DK. Azura pops that second Dragon form, now Fearless.
Yep, hooky up, they have caught the puck and they will burst it down. This little setup there from LYM and Azura. Fearless not going to be too happy about that death, I'm sure.
So does it hurt real bad when you turn
It's
into
a
a dragon?
great pickoff for AG with the DD up. Azura can look for more kill, it's Q.
Yeah, gonna show up on the Undying. There'll be another death here. LYM will take a double. I mean, Azura's, he's still got half the duration of the double damage. So that tier 1 tower, it's basically as good as gone. No defending this now. Just a bit of a misplay here in the mid lane from Motivate. It's gonna cost them heavily.
Yeah, it opens up so much space for AG to keep being aggressive. This is going to be painful for Jackie, because as a PA, you need jungle stacks. You need some farm to flow in once the Battle Fury is up, and now with mid-tier 1, it's going to be hard to secure that. They do manage to take the top tier 1 in exchange on Motivate.Trust's side, so the top jungle opens up a bit more for a PA once the lane leaving is necessary for Jackie. So far, not forced out yet. But this does, again, give AG a bit of a momentum advantage. They just need to constantly apply pressure, ensure the triangle it's not going to be safe for Motivate.Trust, and just impact Jackie as much as possible.
Masaros has roar up. Barish not going to be spotted yet, but Set Zero is not going to catch him either. But they are looking towards that mid-tier 1 tower here, Motivate. With the help of the Dominator, it's not too hard of a task to get this done. No creep wave available at the moment. Meanwhile, behind them, Azura. But with LYM, they are just starting to set up for this defense. Problem is, Barish is going to get caught out. And they still have the roar up here on Masaros. They could just keep going. No real fear here. As LYM in the meantime, though, found Jackie. Coil is out. They've got the DK. The Azura, though, he's a very tanky target. Nice Earth Spike, but the Chrono is going to come in from DB. You haven't got the Mortimer's Kisses right now, but it won't matter. They found Fearless. Roar is out. They're going to try for the Void. DB does, in fact, go down in the end, but they will still be able to find Masaros. Really great team fight so far from Army Geniuses. And we've talked about this in the past, John, but Motivate, they seem to have some kind of issue with Army Geniuses every time they go against them. Army Geniuses, they always just look like the better team.
Yeah, they always somehow make it work, and I think it's just how familiar they are with each other, all the way back to the PG Barrack X times, PG Orca times, and they have played with each other quite enough over the years, and I think they just have the general idea of how each side wants to play the game. It's a good punishment coming through from AG. Basically a team wipe, Mike, if you count that earlier kill on Jackie while the mid-fight broke out. So they find everything they want. They're not building up a massive lead yet on AG's side, only a 1k gold advantage so far. And Jackie is still getting a decent pace towards that Battle Fury. He did skip the power treads, but does at least have brown boots. And that V Fury is only about 500 gold away. So I think for Motivate.Trust, it's just about hitting these item timings on PA, to an extent on your Beastmaster as well, the Overlord. Kind of running from there. They will play with a smoke. We know Chrono's down. The big team fight opportunity for AG is kind of gone. They can just try to use that green coil and the early Veil on Fields to get some damage done.
Smoke up, wrap around, Set Zero, Q Fearless. Trying to get into that die triangle. DB might just show up at the wrong time. Meanwhile, Masaros still trying to get that tier 1 mid tower. Motivate are setting up. They'll get the vision out. They'll get the Dream Coil as well. They've caught the Void. Tombstone immediately dropped finger out as well. Soulbind though with the double silence. This isn't looking good again. This could be problematic. They get the stuns out, but Fearless has been caught. You got DB in the end. It's not the greatest of trades though, as Q is also going to go down here on the Undying. And Wami, he wants more. Masaros, he does end up killing off Barish, but he's been caught out. He'll try for the raw TP away, and he is going to make it. They could not get a stun out in time to cancel the TP.
So heads up, escaped by Masaros, but AG still finds the kills they want. Sure, you're slowing down to face this Void, but this DK is just getting massive, and so is Wami's LC. Blade Mail up, the Blink is flying out now as well. Gonna be easier to land those duels. And the Legion Commander's had a really good time. Like, we've seen Wami be hit and miss sometimes. Some games he just doesn't look like he's having a good time. This time, it's at his best, and they jump Jackie. They don't have the follow-through damage. The Battle Fury is up, so the farm for Jackie escalates. This is the point where AG needs to apply some vision, needs to apply some information out, prevent the PA from farming, contest stacks, and control the jungle. So this is where some of that more disciplined playstyle has to come true. So far, they haven't really managed to get too many forward wards. They are watching Roshan with one obs, watching their own triangle with the other. But I think now you need some forward vision to kind of contest the triangle.
I mean, at least for Motivate's sake, DB's having a pretty rough time. Thing is, though, it doesn't feel like you need him to have damage anyway. Just the Mortimer's Kisses alone proved to be enough during these Chronos, and Wami so far has had a great game. Oh, he could transition to the carry if he wants to, with enough dual damage. In fact, they're staring down Jackie right now. That's the target they love to pick on.
Haste.
They won't make the jump in though, not in that mid lane. Jackie just about to overtake Azura in terms of that net worth board.
Dire are scared.
It's a bit worrying how much Jackie is allowed to farm up, right? Like, sure, he's only getting power treads right now, but the fact that he had a pretty slow lane, building up to number 2 now, is of great concern. AG with the smoke out. I believe that was under vision in the bot jungle. So, Motivate.Trust just stand their ground on the triangle high ground. AG, again, with no forward wards, can't really do much. Are forced to respawn top, but even Masaros knows that he should just play back, and he might not catch anyone big.
Masaros, that is a big enough target. Mortimer's Kisses will be expended. This will still be a nice rotation out. Motivate, however, they look like they want to try and force a fight, and they do get Wami. So not too bad of a trade for either side. In AG, I'm not 100% sure if they actually got more gold killing off Masaros. Should be pretty even, though, between the two off lanes.
It looks like slightly more for AG, but I swear to goodness this graph, this fight recap is a bit wrong
Yeah.
time. So it's likely more even than the fight recap shows. I'm certain that there was an EXP change in favor of Motivate.Trust as well. I think the key thing is, put your pause once you're farming. Issue is DB does not farm as fast as a PA. And DB has to be a bit cautious. They do have defensive wards, so...
I was thinking about the
Pumping
Chrono,
Chrono.
but yeah.
Not quite lined up. When it comes down, you play the slower pace against PA, you're not keeping up in farm. Right, DB's lagging behind by 1.6k, Jackie's going to widen that gap as the game goes on, and your Void just doesn't flash farm. So I think for AG, they've got to find a way to compensate, keep forcing fights, keep pressuring PA. That's the key thing to do. Just jump PA, take control of the triangle. They still have not been able to walk up to the triangle area, get some forward wards. Whereas if you look at Motivate.Trust, they've got a forward ward in top jungle, they've got Hawks to play with, so much info for them to just work this map to their advantage.
Radiant.
Bot lane going to be forced in here from Army Geniuses. The same will happen at top, Motivate. They do have the Helm of the Overlord on the way for Masaros. That's going to be a pretty big spike for them. Jackie pretty close to the Desolator. They might start looking towards that Roshan soon. Azura, though, going to have his own BKB up on the Dragon Knight, and he's still just done a great job of staying on top of the net worth board. Which is not something you see too often against Jackie, but Azura's doing just, yeah, a fantastic job of making sure he keeps that farm up. I guess considering how poor of a game DB's having in terms of the farming game, it's kind of important you do have that backup. The Dragon Knight can certainly transition later on into that pos 1 role if need be. Though I dare say it's not quite as great as, say, a PA, but, you know, sometimes you've got to do what you got to do. We'll see how it pans out. Let's Motivate.
Yep.
They're grouped up, they're looking like they might smoke, and they will commit. Question is, who do they find?
Could just find a Roche. Right into the pit. No info out from AG. No wards to spot. The scan is there right on time. The Roche is melting really fast. I don't know if they can actually run up the time. They have the chrono. No, they're not going to make it. So, first Roche going away with Trust. The nice ages coming out for Jackie, but the double damage goes the way of DB. So, in true fashion, DD spawns right after, but DB takes it. You gotta give out for the guy who's being called Depressed Budia 1 right now. Give him a good time. He does get something to compensate.
This should make my life easier.
Army Geniuses, though, even though the Roshan was just taken, they're going to go for a smoker. They're just hoping for a quick pick off. They are running on towards Fearless, but he's going towards his own triangle, so he might just make it out in time as Wami. That big blink dual initiation, but it's kind of easier said than done. Fearless still hasn't shown himself to Army Geniuses. Said AG, they're going to start slowly heading up top, but the smoke is going to wear off and they are going to be underneath Radiant Vision. If they do try to go towards that Radiant team, and it looks like they're just going to give up on it. Smoke not going to work out. AG, they'll just sit back and wait for Motivate to come to them. Thing is though, Motivate may do so. I mean, you've still got the Aegis. You've got the Desolator on the way now for Jackie. Pretty nice power spike, and they are looking toward that tier 2 tower now. Zura forced to pop the Dragon, pop to try and defend. And you might just wait that out. Force the fight right after as Wami. Oh, he's been caught out by Fearless, trying to go after him instead. Committed the duel, but wasn't able to find the kill on his own. And Fearless, I mean, with the Dream Coil, it was kind of wasted, I suppose, as Jackie was unable to close the gap, but it won't matter because now LYM is caught out. That'll be a Snapfire kill. Motivate should be able to at least go for that top tier 2 now that that Dragon form is about to wear off.
It's all coming back to the vision game. Motivate.Trust, with all the wards they have, with all the Hawks they have, they've got a lot of control on the map, and they're just able to dictate how these fights go. AG, they might have a kill lead, they have a very marginal gold lead. Jackie is #1 now on that board. And they just haven't done enough to stop the PA. So for AG, there's a lot of pressure now on trying to get some big chronos, some big duels out, with follow-up damage mainly coming in from LYM's Kisses. That's your best bet to melt these heroes at the moment. Top tier 2, as you mentioned, Mike, still being shoved in. At very least, Varish can kind of clear out the creep wave with a Stroke of Fate, but the Ancient Creep and the Boris will still make short work of that objective.
Yep, they do. Alright, not going to break out Azura. He was ink swallowed up, but let's make the jump in. Was Earth Spiked instead. They'll go onto Masteros. Chrono is available. The silence is there from Fearless. Meanwhile, Varish just gets shredded by Jackie. But now they got the stun out. They might be able to get through that Aegis before the Chrono needs to be expended, but no. He does Blink Strike away. Because buyback was forced there by Varish. And Army Geniuses, the RS5, they're still holding on to that top tier 2, but it's hanging on by a thread. 58 HP. They'll go for a smoke instead. I mean, they've got to make this buyback worth it somehow.
Money changes hands.
They smoke under vision though.
Oh, never mind though. Fearless, he gets caught anyway. Bit problematic if they were under vision. Fearless maybe just kind of not paying attention there as he does get caught out, and that'll be some free duel damage to Wami.
I didn't figure they'd find anything for their trouble. They even find Jackie's courier. So holding back the Ag's timing for PA just a bit longer. Unfortunate for Motivate.Trust. AG just kind of need to keep playing. With the puck down, they don't have to worry about something highly mobile up front. They still have the chrono. DB's been very patient with that spell use. And they just kind of hold out. So not finding any more than that. They do at least plant a forward ward now in the triangle. So they have a way of monitoring where Jackie's at. And they can kind of play against that. Maybe look for a smoke play onto the triangle next. Down the line when the smokes are back up. Jackie, though, being very, very confident against Wami, but Wami is fairly tanky with the Blade Mail. Not the easiest target to burst down. Still a lot of his HP going down there. AG, you talked about scaling on the DK, Mike. we are seeing Azura go for the AC next, so he is going to have more right-click damage, more protection from the PA, and some minus armor for his own. I think the Ags will have to come out if you want to hit that
Dire
spike, but
are
AG,
scanning.
they smoke, and this time it's not spotted under vision.
Up they go.
Dire's top tower is under
Aegis
attack.
4
Dire's
seconds away
top
from
tower
expiring.
is
Instead, however, they are going to find Masaros. So they'll go after the Beastmaster. You would have loved to catch the PA, but beggars can't be choosers. Army geniuses. Sort of pick off there on the offlane Beast. Meanwhile, the rest are still having a look around. Jackie gonna run into LYM. In the meantime, Wami looks like he was trying to set up a duel attempt, but won't quite find one. And now Fearless commits the coil. It will land onto the LC, but they're not gonna be able to catch them out. Like DB's now shown up with Chrono available, so he gets Yuled up, but it won't matter. Jackie does go down, and Fearless will as well. LYM just cleaning up onto the Undying. They go and they'll find another.
Yo, that was massive from Wami. That was a soul-bind duel. I think that's the first time I've actually seen a soul-bind duel win.
Right.
Wami got 40 damage right off of that, straight up to 80 now. That is just nuts. And Motivate.Trust just getting caught off guard. It looked a bit awkward because Wami revealed early by the mid-tier 2, but they still overcommit and AG clean up. A 3k lead their side. As they found that PA kill, they can push onto the tier 2 tower. Azura just machine guns down. Want to press the attack. This Dragon Knight's just way too big. Has the Hyperstone up. AC not too far off, Mike. And that scaling you were talking about in DK, it's about to be online.
That it is.
Dire's top tower is under
Really, Azura's just done a fantastic job this game.
middle tower has fallen.
Motivate.Trust not anywhere near out of it yet, but they have a timing they wanted to hit, and right now, looking a bit rough as they're 5k behind. Again, AG has tended to be the bane of Motivate.Trust's existence every pro series that goes by. As mid lane, who have they caught? Wami. No, he's going to be alright. Has the shards up. No problem to just run away from the coil. Motivate, you can kind of tell they're getting a little bit desperate for a good team fight now. Still unable to find it. The brighter side seems like Jackie is going right into an Ag Scepterus. Meanwhile, top lane, Fearless. Uh-oh, getting caught out again here by the LC and Azura. Wami up to 100 dual damage now.
He's had a fantastic time on that Legion Commander, controlling the lane well, hitting these spikes, setting up for the team. The double blinks on AG are just catching Motivate.Trust off guard. And I think for Motivate.Trust, somehow they're having vision issues. Like earlier on, they had all these really nice aggressive wards. They've had a Hawks to help them out. Now it's kind of falling flat. I think they need to just play where they're protected, play where the Hawks are out, play where the wards are out, get some sentries on as well to take out some of that control from AG. AG, they'll just keep playing aggressive like this.
Try Wami, he's got Jewel up in form. Masaros, he's going to show very soon, I think. Not soon enough, though. AG going to back off. Bot lane, Motivate, they've rotated down. DB showing himself in the creep wave there for a moment, but he is going to back off at the right time. Not getting too greedy there on the Void. Will not get punished down to this bot lane, but now maybe they intercept him in the triangle.
Dire's courier
No,
has been
even
killed.
then, he just knows to back off and rejoin his team. And it just goes back to these two teams scrimming with each other so much that they just know exactly what each other's gonna do. Army
Radiant's
geniuses
bottom tower is under
not
attack.
falling for any of the Motivate.Trust tricks so far.
Yeah, they're holding their own. Motivate.Trust does find a good courier snipe, so the AC of Azura is held back for 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes now. Going to be a bit awkward not having that major item spike after expending the gold, but you don't lose heroes. You're still kind of happy with this for Army Geniuses. DD up and running on DB. That's a bit of a mouthful. So they take control of the triangle. Again, playing where they're safe. The same thing goes for Motivate.Trust after getting caught out a couple of times. They're just playing where they have wards. So the bot lane is protected, the bot jungle is open. That's where they'll just farm up. A minute and a half till the next Rosh. And for both sides, that's going to be a big Roshan. Free Ag Shard on Rosh number 2. The team fight potential for Army Geniuses is a bit stronger right now, though. With a Chrono, with the kisses coming through in such a tight spot, I think they've got to be careful. And oh, another great duel.
Oh, Fearless, he gets caught out another time.
They call that
Alright, even more dual damage to Wami, and we talked about the LC potentially carrying the game to boot, John. This is getting to that point where you start to get worried about how much damage Wami can deal now. Yeah, a couple more duels and it's going to get ultra concerning. Mind you, this is before he has the max duel up, so he's not even getting maximum efficiency from this damage yet. Very, very soon he'll get even more. Motivate. All eggs in the Jackie basket at this point, because Fearless is just not going to have a game on the puck anymore. And Jackie, he's still trying to work on towards his BKB. Thing is, if he gets dueled with the Blade Mail active on Wami, he's just going to kill himself. So he can't really fight without the BKB up.
Yeah. He's going to need some protection here to prevent that from happening. And that is going to help the cause. His farm is almost there, but not quite. Roche in 10 seconds. Oh, Chrono?
He's committed. They've got Masteros and Jewel on Fearless. My goodness. Wow, I mean, they're just completely outplaying Motivate here. Even more dual damages now. The Roshan spawns up instantly as they walk in. Perfect timing from Roshan. That'll be a nice, easy free Roshan for the side of our AG.
And we were commenting about this earlier from AG not having good wards. That laning ward set them up. Set 0. He's got the blink to try to sneak in.
He's going to try, John. There's a bit of a TP situation going down at the bot lane. I don't want to miss this Roshan play, though. He's in. Oh. He might get it. Set 0. Oh, he's got the Aegis. Oh, thank goodness we didn't look bot. He's going to die. What does it matter, though? He made a great play. Who got the shards? Oh, he got it the shards as well. Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it there. Set 0 with the plays.
It's fulfillment.
Oh, man. He got the Roche kill. He got the Aegis. He got the shard. So the gold, the Aegis, and the shard went their way. Everything going for Motivate.Trust. Army Jeans is getting caught off guard by that flank. And you get punished. They've been so on point even beforehand. Like, they had these really great lane wards which enable that Chrono duel. Now, without Aegis, it gets a bit dicey going high ground. They will have Chrono back up in about 50 seconds. They got a gold kick.
Freest duel of his life. Fearless just kind of walks the other way. Just, I can't help you, sir. However, Fearless might be in a similar scenario as soon as he does get scouted by the stroke. They won't have lockdown. So, I mean, Jackie, again, this game is on his shoulders right now for Motivate. Still top of the net worth board by a mile. Has the BKB up now. It's about that time where you've got to see Jack getting involved. I mean, this is that point. You're not going to get too much stronger as the PA. He can't necessarily 1v5 them. He will have to wait for the rest of his team, but see what he can do. It looks like they are going to slowly start setting up for a tier 2 defense, if not a high ground defense here for Motivate. Stun out. They are in. Jackie trying to go to DB, but the Chrono is there. BKB will stop a lot of the damage that is coming in from those kisses. Jackie meanwhile jumping out, but look at the damage in the back lines. Fearless and Masteros are both gone. Wami is just charging them right now. Just charging him.
They still find a great kill. Sure, you save Jackie, but without your puck, without the Beastmaster, you don't have the control to get the jump in. And the high ground will be slowly sieged. Buyback forced out from Fearless, so they've got some options to defend, but no Dream Coil makes it tough.
There's X out. Are we jumping on Jackie? He's got one. It's LYM down. He will blink strike right back out. In fact, here we go again. Back in. Not quite. Just snipe one support. Get rid of that damn Snapfire. EG, they've seen enough. You can't forget they don't have an Aegis to play with thanks to set 0. They're kind of forced to play a little bit more carefully now.
Yeah, they've got to take it slow. I think if DB had his MKB up in that first Chrono, things would be a lot different. The damage would be flying through. Farmer faces Void. Only comes in now. So rather unfortunate timing, not managing to line that up with the aggression. But AG don't mind. They still have a 9k lead despite being behind Jackie. Everyone else is suffering on Motivate.Trust side. As you said, Mike, it's all eggs in the Jackie basket. And he has been getting some good pickoffs, but the follow through just doesn't feel amazing yet. He does have a good source of break with a Fan of Knives. So he can kind of just try to kill off the DK while it's softened up, kill off the Face's Void while he's also softened up. But it's so difficult even with the BKB to commit because of that chrono. Even if you are blocking the magic damage with the kisses, with the MKB up on DB, he'll be able to rip through. You've got the Black Dragon form on Azura now, Ags flying out for the DK. So the scaling on the DK is online as well, Mike. He's got a lot of damage coming out. I think the next thing you might want to go for is maybe a Silver Edge, and after that, you're good.
Oh, it's going to be a very painful time now for Motivate, that's for sure. See, when they want to try and force high ground, I mean, you might be kind of just waiting for the next Roshan now as Army Geniuses. So you just saw Jackie able to pick off people with the Aghanim Scepter very easily. So you don't want to risk throwing this game back the way of Motivate. AG, maybe a big smoke up here as 5. But no, they just remain as a group, not knowing where the rest of Motivate are. No smoke yet.
Time is money.
Meanwhile, Motivator basically doing the same thing, just sticking as 5, not feeling 100% safe by themselves. Keep in mind, Jackie does not have buyback gold right now. He did just buy out the Basher, so if he gets picked off, that is guaranteed high ground. But he's well and truly too far away for AG to really reach him.
And just kind of tempering themselves back here on both sides, maybe waiting for that next Roshan before going for some big plays. Really even in terms of just taking control of the map, both sides avoiding quite nicely. The build-up is feeling a lot better for AG because, again, despite having Jackie take everything, maybe farm back to buyback, AG has more scaling cores. Our DK is already up, has 1.5k in the bank for the next item. Our Face's Void is just trying to go for the Satanic to sustain himself in the 1v1 fight, and that's really going to make all the difference when, you know, you've got the Bash on demand, you've got lifesteal. It's going to be hard for a PA to just completely burst you down, which is where the PA really shines. It does not actually enjoy prolonged fights because it doesn't have a source of Bash on its own, and the Basher is going to have an internal cooldown that you aren't really going to enjoy up against Face's Void. Still, AG going to go for a tier 2 tower bot. No defense coming out from Motivate.Trust. That's their last outer tower here. So if the high ground does happen at some point, AG is going to have every Rax that they could take.
Are they going to commit, though? I mean, the rest of AG are kind of sitting back in that mid lane right now. Motivate. They're just kind of roaming the map. Smoke up now. They feel confident. They want to try and force a fight. Don't have buyback available on Jackie, so it could be dangerous timing. Run right into DB. He's got Chrono, but he is under vision, so the instant Hex is there, but the press the attack, and now Wami, he's going to duel out. Chrono committed DB, going to try and help finish the duel. In fact, never mind, he was going after the Undying instead. Meanwhile, DB now gone down. Wami is going to drop along with him. Azura, he's going to keep trying to fight this one out. They do at least get Fearless, and man, look at the damage output. Azura is just getting right through him. Jackie, he tried to jump in onto LYM, but he could not get the Snapfire, and that'll be Jackie's life down the drain. He does have buyback now. That was a very scary scenario though for Motivate, and I think that Void Chrono kind of messed them up a little bit.
Yeah, they clumped up. They thought they had enough damage. They didn't expect the Legion Commander to be there with a Dispel. Quick thinking coming out from our Void to just get the Chrono out, set up for the counter fight, get the kisses flying through. The BKBs were not able to fly out. And the high ground just opens up. They've got buyback on their heroes, but they know they can't really do much with the buybacks coming out without the puck buying back as well. They're going to have to surrender one set of racks. AG, they are down to 2 big cores. I don't think they can really commit for more, and they'll play it safe, pull back, backdoor protection kicks in anyway. They didn't have a creep wave, so they are going to have to just, you know, take what they can get, reset, but they set themselves up for a good time now. One lane constantly shoved in. Groshan, we're going to find that respawn in about 2 seconds. And if AG are lucky, it could be a really fast respawn. Unfortunately, they're not. It's going to be 2 minutes on the respawn, so a bit more of a wait there. We have more items flowing in, though. Heaven's Halberd up on Wami. Disarm up to deal with Jackie's PA. That's something the PA does not enjoy. Once you disarm her, she's a sitting duck in the middle of that fight. and it's going to be really easy to manage. You also managed to finish up the Satanic on DB. She's going to be very safe in the front line. Killing him off now when the Chrono flies up, it's going to be a harder task as he's got the damage and sustain to trade hits with PA now.
Definitely, again, scary times for Motivate. AG. Fearless. Link in, but won't go for the Dream Coil. Of course, he was on his own. Roshan up in 1 minute, that is. Still, they are going to force a fight, it seems like, as they do take that Radiant Triangle. D-Ward's out as well here from DB. In the meantime, Wami, oh, he's been caught out. Hex is there. Jackie, he's going to try and blow up the LC, and he does. DB trying to sneak up from the backside. Does still have Chrono. Nice little arcane push away from Z0. Oh, and a creep block. DB getting very unlucky there. As now the dagger comes out. They got the Hex off and they've got the Void. No. Oh, he doesn't get the Time Walk off in time. They even found the Snapfire. That'll be a third. The Aeon Disc will only last so long. LYM will drop. And Roshan's up in 13 seconds.
Yeah, that's really big for Motivate.Trust. Army Genius is getting a bit hasty. I don't think they can actually take these fights without Wami, right? Like, they need that press the attack to break off. They need to be able to save themselves from the chain stuns coming through with that little window of spell immunity. And Motivate.Trust, they see the Roche number 3. Cheese, Ag's Blessing as well on top. A lot that can come through now for the side of Motivate.Trust. They could just get the Ags upgrade on their puck, including Piercing Dream Coil. Going to do short work against the spell immunity on the side of AG, and Fearless does pick it up. So massive swing back side of Motivate.Trust, 15-31, but only a 4K advantage for AG, as they're going to be playing on back foot now. Mind you, their high ground defense is really strong, Mike. Chrono is a spell that has no real counter, right? Like, that's something that always comes through, just like to an extent RP and Black Hole, because they pierce through spell immunity in such a wide AoE. So I think that's something AG can use on the high ground defense. They just need to find that angle and protect Wami, or at least, you know, not have Wami die solo. You can't afford to lose the Legion Commander at this point.
Look at that, Joe. Look what
Oh
Rune spawned after the Roshan. There you go. Oh, Wami. Cautious there from Wami. Motivate.Trust. Gonna get the bottle up there for Jackie. They'll hold on to the DD rune for now. Of course, they're not guaranteed the next victory just because they have the Aegis up. It's still a very back and forth between these two teams, but they have at least evened out the net worth. Looking at DB to land a massive Chrono this next fight. See, we've seen AG, like, if they can get the initiation off, then generally speaking, they look like the better team. Problem is, Motivate are the ones getting these initiations going. And here we go again, another 5-man smoke. Seems like AG are very well aware that this is happening right now. Motivate, they're not going to get anything out of this. Not quite yet anyway.
Yeah, I like that AG's playing safe. You know, they can play high ground a little bit better. They might be willing to just surrender their outer towers. I mean, they're not losing too much. Their bot lane shoving in because they've got the melee creep advantage, and they will go for their own smoke here on AG's side.
Runs popped. Still, the high ground is being held by Motivate. It's a bit of a hard fight to try and initiate into. DB, though, is going to go into set 0, but they have hexed up the Void. DB still alive, however. Might be able to get the Chrono off. In fact, he doesn't need it. He's just man-fighting Jackie. He's got the MKB up. Masaros gets Aurora off onto Wami, but Jackie has been left behind. They are still trying. In fact, never mind. He can get the damn job done himself onto DB and Wami. He just shreds through them. A triple already for Jackie, and he might find more. OIM is going to try and TP out in time. He will make it. Barish, I can't say the same for him. One life went down so quick, but then no Chrono came out.
has fallen.
Yeah, the follow-up silence is really good coming out from Fearless, and now AG don't have buybacks on their two big cores. They can buy back on Wami, but without the Void or the DK, this is not a fight they can easily take. Their mid-racks will fall. The side of Motivate.Trust, they could just gun for the tier 4s, and it looks like they will.
Yeah, plenty of time without those two cores available. Plenty of damage. Onto the tier 4s they go. Seen this many a time here from Motivate as Wami. He's jumped in. He will not get the duel off that he wanted. The Blade Mail now on cooldown to make matters worse as Jackie going to re-jump in onto LYM. He's going to be able to survive at least for a bit, but not for too long. As the Ancient is going to go down, Jackie, he'll go for a bit of a hunt. And in the end, Motivate.Trust, they make the draft work. In classic Motivate fashion.
Oh man, Army Jeans has had such a great start. They were finding really good farm. They were making this Faceless Void work, right? They were hitting some good farming spikes. They got good farm distribution with the DK and the Faceless Void, but they were just overwhelmed by the silences towards that last fight. Like, they still had good ways of ripping through Jackie, but the chrono never came out. I think that was the big issue. They needed for Wami to keep saving DB, and he was somehow cut off in that last fight. And Motivate.Trust just managed to make use of that shortcoming. So a very close fight once more. Motivate.Trust do come out ahead, giving themselves 4 wins tonight. We'll see if they can get a 5th. Army Geniuses, they do want to find a win, and they did put a really good fight. You can see how close these two teams are. Despite a big difference in their rankings so far in Pro Series 9, we'll see if AG manages to kind of plug in the gaps in the second game.
Absolutely. We are going to head to a short 10-minute break, and right after that break, we'll be back with game number 2 between AG and Motivate.Trust Gaming.